How's it going, guys? This is DusxSnow, and in this particular video I am basically going to be doing an entirety, summary over Destiny, and I'm going to hopefully be able to do this in about 15-20 minutes and then go on to another topic, another segment of a video. But anyway, let's get down to it. From Destiny 1, to me, in a scale of 1 to 10, by the time the game was all the way through, we played everything and collected 99% of the exotics. Well, me personally collected 99% of the exotics and everything. I would say I'd give Destiny 1 a solid 8.5, 9 on the entirety thing. Yes, I spent over $100 in the game, but that $100 was worth the entire thing. So, anyway, that said, moving on to Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is, in my opinion, so far a amazing game. That's the no bias or anything like that. No special stuff or anything like that. I mean, it's a game is a game. The longer you play a single game, in my opinion, is the better that said game is. That being said, I don't know exactly how to go about looking for it and everything, but I know y'all are probably tired of me playing the same mission over and over. I'm trying to do a lore. That being said, though, if you're somebody that's been playing the game since the beginning of Destiny 1, like I have, then you'll understand where I'm coming from with feeling slightly disappointed in stuff. And the reason I'm saying this, and the reason I'm going about saying this, for example, when you pre-ordered Destiny 2, you got some cool stuff, but in the long run, I think if I remember correctly, it ended up that everybody got it. So, like, for example, Cold Heart, an exotic, which is understandable because, oh, you can't let somebody have this particular weapon and not allow anybody else to have it. That's understandable. And if you don't know what Cold Heart is, it's a linear fusion rifle. As soon as I get to it, it's this one. Very first weapon in the game, because I do believe that these are in order of which ones was implemented in the game first.
Cade's secret stash. The note said this was the place he hid it. We find the stash. We find the parts we need to repair the Ace of Spades.
But yeah, essentially you got a few little odds and ends, and that was pretty much it. And like the exotics, not the exotics, but the emotes and stuff, I think you got some emotes that nobody else did. And I don't remember which one it is. I might not even have it because technically I didn't pre-order the game. But aside from that, I think there was maybe an emblem too, or a sparrow. But anyway, essentially, you pre-ordering the game, there wasn't much that you could be like, oh, look at this, I have this, versus now, when you can say, oh, I pre-ordered the game, and you have some actual stuff to be like, look at this. Example, I believe it's this bow. You got Wrath's Majestic, this thing. And unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to see like what skins and stuff you can get for the game, but I'm pretty certain that this is the one that you get for pre-ordering for whatever the damn Forsaken. I can't think of it. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, you got that. You got a couple shaders. Not a couple shaders. You got one shader for 5 pieces of armor. But you can buy those pieces of shaders again. Oops. Let's see. And where is it? Cade's duds. This is essentially Cade's armor. And this looks really cool on certain pieces of gear. Let's see. And just for a quick little thing, because I don't think I've seen it this way either. I want to see what my armor is going to look like with this, because this armor, this shader moves. So yeah, I think that's probably the coolest shader so far, and the way you get it is, the only way you can is by finding this particular shader and deconstructing it. It says, well dang, it doesn't say, but in the little thingy it says. But anyway, back to on the subject. If you bought the game in the very beginning, I'm pretty certain that you probably spent a fairly decent amount of time in pretty much every game mode. I'm pretty certain that you did a lot of Crucible, did a lot of...
If you're listening to this, congrats on killing me. I assume
did a lot of pretty much everything, like I said.
To your worm cult. That, or you just finally got sick of me. Coincidentally, if you didn't kill me and still somehow hear this, I'm sorry for stealing your ship. And pretty much
like,
every other
first,
interaction we ever had.
the story, essentially, I'm gonna do this, so I can't hear it, but basically the story from... I'm pretty certain by now everybody knows what happened, so just in case, spoiler alert on everything that I can think of. But essentially, from starting off in the game, coming back to in the middle of being attacked tower by the Red Legion, losing your everything, your light, all that other good stuff, then going from Earth to Titan to Nessus to Io. I believe that is the way you go about doing it. Earth, Titan, Nessus, Io. Yep. And then going back to Titan. Not Titan. Going back. Anyway, basically going back and forth in between those, slowly leveling up to 20 and beating the game. Oh, beating not the game, but the Red Legion, and then going to Vanguard Strikes and Crucible, and Nightfalls, and yada yada yada. The Raid, which is in Nessus, and right there, Leviathan. All of that good stuff. The base game of Destiny 2, storytelling, pretty much the entirety of the base game on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say that it is a solid 8. Just because of, like, there's a lot of lore, not lore, there's a lot of story, there's a lot of Crucible that was amazing, at least in my opinion. I mean, I do a little bit of all of it, and yes, I get mad at Crucible and stuff, but back then there was not quite as many guns, so pretty much you always ran into the same guns, and it was pretty much 99% of the time the same perks and everything. But anyway, from that, I apologize if you can hear the dog in the background. Charlie, lay down please. But essentially, from all of that, and just playing Destiny 1, like, from the 2, I would say it would be pretty much on the same par as how whenever Destiny 1's Taken King and let's see, the Taken DLC, I'm pretty certain it was the Taken King, and then the Iron Lords or Iron Wolves, I don't remember what the DLC is called, but essentially both of those two DLCs is what made Destiny 1
This one's for the fellow calls
all the
himself
way
Drifter. You did warn me running with you would put a target on
all the
my
way
back.
good,
Guess I'm in
basically,
good company, though, huh?
because
After all, never had any fun without a little risk.
the other
That's
two
whole idea of
DLCs, the House of Wolves was pretty
My
decent.
idea, by the way,
No, not the
had it
House of
like
Wolves.
a million years ago,
The one
back
with
when you
Crota.
were still handsome. So,
Pretty certain it was Crota's End or something like
you
that.
know, getting that up and running means coming behind.
But essentially the one with Crota as the raid and everything, the Moon DLC.
My money was on the guy with the golden gun. But hey, what do I know? I'm dead.
I enjoyed that one a lot. And then of course the House of Wolves, it added some more like mechanics and stuff to the game, but to me it was a pretty big letdown. I mean, the Crota one was a pretty big letdown too. Coming into D1 and you have pretty decent story and all this other stuff, even though D1 was kind of a mess because of different odds and ends.
But I'm betting my death was not a case of your famous collateral damage.
Switching voice actors and just pretty much getting everything situated to where they are now.
You got a blast radius, baby.
D1 had its flaws, and then now D2 is starting off from base game, of course, is pretty much all done.
Evac labor after dawn under solstice.
It's pretty much, in my opinion, it's really good. Like D2 is pretty much on the same level of par as the last couple DLCs of D1. Storytelling, cutscenes, heartstrings being pulled on different aspects, especially if you're played since Destiny 1. You had the oops. But like if you was a fan of Destiny since Destiny 1 and you've played all of the DLCs, played all the way up until like recently, then you should pretty much be on the same understanding as me whenever you come across like somebody that hasn't ever touched Destiny 1 and they're just like, oh, this game's okay, because they don't understand as much of the lore as it was whenever D1 was out. Get away from these guys real quick. Okay. That should be good to go. But yeah, back on the topic. Essentially, as I've said, in my personal opinion, I think that like if you haven't played Destiny 1, and I know it's kind of super late to really get into Destiny 1, I think, to my knowledge. But I would suggest going and playing it. Just go ahead and go and buy take the Iron Lord or whatever it is version of Destiny 2, which now is probably, oh shit, now is probably like $20 or so at like GameStop. And
Sorry, I
I know that there's probably not a lot that you could do. Like, you're not, more than likely, you might not be able to experience the Volta Glass, which is the first raid of the game. Might not be able to do Crota, might not be able to do any of that stuff just because, like, I don't know how many people still plays Destiny 1. I would, but, I mean, my time is crunched between work, recording for you guys, and myself, because, I mean, to me it's fun. Even if it's just me playing normally and not talking, to me it's fun. I'm trying to make it fun for you guys as well.
That would be rough. Because you and I both know you'd have
But,
me yapping in your ear for the rest of your days. You wouldn't be able to
go
help
ahead and
yourself.
grab that and continue onward to show that right here. And continue talking. But yeah, essentially, like I said, in my personal opinion, D1 all the way. Oh, D2, not D1. D1's main base game was amazing to me. Light level maxed out at 300, I believe. I don't remember just because. Well, one. And then, whenever they released, come on, Destination's stupid. Whenever they released the next DLC, which was Mercury, this one, to me, I'm sorry to say it, Bungie, but it was a huge, huge disappointment compared to anything else that they've done. I mean, yes, it added a couple story, and I before anybody starts commenting or anything, I do understand that making content for games is like it's difficult. I 100% understand that. So this isn't me being like, oh, they didn't do their jobs, blah. No, it's just being honest. Like, in comparison of D1's DLC and D2's DLC, you would think that you would want to wow people versus this. I mean, Mercury is small. And I understand that it's small, and I get that, like, bits and pieces of Mercury's gone because of the Almighty, and there's only a couple little places on Mars that's still all in one conjoining piece, aside from, of course, the Infinite Forest, which is basically an alternate universe inside of Mercury, basically, made by the Vex. Now, as I said, I understand that DLCs is not an easy task to do. It costs money, this and that, but to me, paying $20 for, let's see, if you smash in all of the strikes and stuff, and then, of course, basically a copy and paste version of the raid. Not exactly, but it's essentially the same raid. I know it's not, but it's... Like I said, I haven't experienced any of the 3 raids all the way through, so I don't really have room to speak about it. But at the same time, whenever you can do this... Oops. Whenever you can do this right here, go to Nessus... Click on the Leviathan, and you have 3 of the same raids. You got Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, which is different than the other one, and then you have Leviathan, Spire of Stars, which is a little bit different than the other one. But to me, it's essentially the same thing. Like, I know it's not, but in my eyes, it's literally the same place. At least in D1, you had the Vault of Glass. The other raid was on a whole entire different place. Instead of Venus, it was Moon. Instead of Moon, it was Dreadnought. Anyway. But in my eyes, the first DLC was a pretty big letdown just because of the lack of stuff. The second DLC was a lot better, in my opinion. And we have this. Is that a heroic? It is a heroic. Why is there a heroic on Mars? Anyway, oh, and another thing. I mean, Mercury is so small. Aside from the infinite forest, which there's not really a lot in the infinite forest. But again, there's this area right here where you can go and do whatever you want to at any point in time of the DLC. This is the part that is the issue. I mean, it's small enough to go from here to here to here to here in like 10 minutes on foot. You can't summon your sparrow. There's not, I mean, I understand that there's not enough room to summon your sparrow. You can jump all over this place and make it to wherever you need to go. And that's another issue, and this is a pretty big issue in just the community in general. And again, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not trying to put down anybody. This is just my personal opinion of the first DLC of Destiny. The second DLC of Destiny, opening cutscene, badass. Opening cutscene for the first DLC was badass. It showed you the Vault of Glass, a piece of the Vault of Glass. I thought that was awesome. And then just... Anyway, second DLC, pretty badass in my opinion. Big area to explore. Sparrow accessible. If you know how to do it right, you can get your Sparrow and go over here. And, I mean, in my opinion, just... You can tell that a lot more time and effort went towards this, which, I mean, you also had more time to do it versus, oh, we're going to release the DLC here. It's only been like 5 months, it's 3 months, 4 months, how many ever months the first DLC was released before, after the game came out. I know that you had a team working on this DLC and a team working on this DLC and a team working on this DLC all at the same time, or pretty much throwing around stuff. And then, of course, you had extra little odds and ends to do in the in Mars. You had the data fragments. Why am I still here? I figured that I would be done by now, because that's the whole reason I continued talking. Alright, well, I guess I'll do my little dance before continuing on. Since, of course, I guess me being in the pause menu kind of farted with the game. But anyway, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to open the last chest until after all the audio was done. Anyway, where are we? Oh yeah, we're Titan. But, Titan was a smaller area to explore. And then Mercury was super tiny. So the first DLC, I mean, I still enjoyed it regardless of how much it seems like I'm bashing it down. I mean, to me, it just was not worth $20. Anyway, the second DLC, it made up for it. So if you bought the season pass, these two places, about $30 worth is very much agreeable on. And then, of course, about 2.5 months ago, you had the Dreaming City, oh, not the Dreaming City, but the Forsaken DLC. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. So far, with my handful of time playing in the time since it came out, I mean, I'm almost at max level. I've gotten 2 of the secret exotics that you can get. Actually, I think I got both. There's only 2, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have all the exotics, so don't quote me on that. But I got my Pheasants. I got Wishender. I pretty much got Wishender on my own, except for the last part, I had a little bit of help getting the quest itself started, because some clan members got to the statue whenever the first set of 3 weeks happened. Then I jumped in, got the quest, we went and did the first mission, got it. Malfeasance, you needed assistance. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was hard for the level that we grabbed it at. And I'm thankful for the clan members that I had to help me get all of this, and of course the clan members that has helped me be able to beat my first raid since the entirety of the game. I mean, I haven't fully did the entire thing through. I just did the last encounter and the last little segment of that. Anyway, back on topic. And my game is still not loaded in what I need to do. I definitely think that it was the cost of the DLC or the annual pass, whichever path you took. I have the annual pass, thanks to the person I game share with. Anyway, these two, I 100% think that they're worth 100% think that they're worth how much they are. Not only do we have one pretty sizable area to explore, 4 lost sectors to go hunt for gear and stuff when you're lower level, but you have a second one, and the second one changes every week. Every week it changes. So I mean, to me, that's amazing. I mean, it's a 3-week cycle, so in every 4th week it's back to week 1 basically. It's like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Right now we're on our 3rd cycle if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, off that topic and on to the next. I wonder if this is like a clock or something. I've never noticed this until just now. This is the raid that I was able to finish. It's 550, but the very last boss is 590. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of stuff that people hasn't found out yet. They just recently found the newest of the wishes, which is the 10th one, which is the Drifter. Excuse me. And so I think that's really cool. I think it's cool that there's so much like secrets and stuff. There's a massive amount of activities to do. If you don't reach level 600 by December, especially if you've had it since the beginning of the DLC dropping, unless you just don't have the time to do it or don't want to do it, if that makes sense, then I mean you pretty much don't have a reason to. I don't know if the audio for the game played all the way through, or if it did play all the way through, and I mean I have it muted, so I don't know. I do know that it's supposed to end. I don't know if there's anything secret if you go that way, because that way is more of the stuff. Anyway, I don't want people to think that I'm being biased or anything like that with the game. I'm not. It's just, I mean, I've put a massive amount of hours in this game. If there was a way to check it without doing the DLC, without cutting my stream, See, I don't know how to go about doing that. So I'll put that information in the description. But I guess I'm gonna have to start over. Something? I don't know. But if you guys enjoyed, let me know. Sorry for those that have different opinions on the game than myself. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion. Out of the time that I've played, I'm pretty certain it's a massive amount of time. Not as much as like people that does this thing for a living, but I'm pretty certain it's pretty high on how much I've done in this game. Charlie, come here. Get over here and lay down. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, and just in case I didn't know this, unless they fixed it already. I think they did. Let's see. Maybe not. Yeah. Just a little thing that you can do. Kind of blows up in the game. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have, like always, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me try to get back in the map. Probably not gonna happen. Yeah, it will. But yeah, I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Guys, oh well, I'm still outside the map. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I just wanted to do this couple minute video. Oh, not couple, 30-minute video of my personal opinions on Destiny 2, the DLCs, yada yada yada. If you're just joining us, then look forward to seeing this video on the other place that I put videos on. And yeah, we'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys, as soon as my Twitch allows me to restart my stream.